Hi, my name is Hong Lee. I'm a senior researcher from the University of Lapland in Finland. I'm presenting the full paper, Flexi Card Game, a design toolkit for unconventional communication systems for long-distance relationships. It's a collaboration work with Awais from the University of Queensland and my colleagues Kuisma, Pradthana, and Jonna from the University of Lapland. We developed the Flexi Card Game, a car-based design toolkit that was created through an iterative design process over the span of 12 months in collaboration with designers, researchers, non-designers, and domain experts across 2 countries. A total of 56 participants were engaged over 5 design workshops. We named the toolkit Flexi as it was designed to enable flexibility. We hope our toolkit could be flexible enough in order to avoid some common weaknesses of car-based design tools. Our paper makes 3 main contributions. First, it presents Flexi Card Game, the novel car-based design toolkit itself. Second, it describes the process of developing a design framework into a design toolkit in detail. Third, it offers lessons and insights that can help researchers and designers who are developing design tools in similar contexts. In this presentation, I will walk you through the process of how we developed a design framework into a car-based design toolkit. Flexi Card Game was developed based on this framework, which is one of our earlier work. As you can see, it has 5 dimensions: user, long-distance relationship, technology, design, and the context of use. Each dimension contains their key characteristics that define what aspects need to be considered when designing unconventional computer-mediated communication systems for connecting couples in long-distance relationships. Given the domain-specific knowledge in this framework might be difficult for non-designers to understand, we decided to restructure its academic orientation by adopting those dimensions into a more accessible format. This picture here shows how the 5 key dimensions of the framework are represented in the latest version of the toolkit. Each dimension has its corresponding card category or supplementary tool. Next, I will start from the first version of the Flexi Card Game. The first version had a deck of 18 single-sided cards. The visual layout was simple. The categories of the cards mainly focused on the design dimension of the framework. We tested the first version in 2 workshops. In the first workshop, the cards were used individually, while in the second workshop, the participants were divided into 4 groups and used the cards collectively. This slide shows the outcomes of using the first version of the cards. The participants in the first workshop used the cards to generate a total of 12 design concepts, which they believe would help address the challenges they were facing in their own long-distance relationship. There were 4 outcomes in the second workshop, which were co-designed by the participants, who came up with different wearable solutions for remote couples to communicate intimacy. The second version of the toolkit had 3 decks, each containing 27 cards. Each deck of cards was designed for a particular type of long-distance relationship. We covered 3 main types, including long-distance romantic relationship, long-distance family relationship, and long-distance friendship. The idea is that the card users should select the deck of cards to use according to the specific user group they are designing for. We added a scenario template as a supplementary tool in the second version. The scenario template was divided into 5 sections according to the categories of the cards. Each section had a number of questions to guide the card users to select the cards that are relevant and can help them develop their concept. We tested the second version with 12 industrial design students who had no experience on designing for long-distance relationships. The participants were equally divided into 3 groups, and each group was tasked to use 1 deck of cards. The outcomes were 3 concepts of unconventional communication devices for connecting different types of long-distance relationships. The participants presented their concepts through storyboards and role-playing. Based on the feedback we received from this workshop, we significantly redesigned the third version of the toolkit. Altogether, the set consisted of a deck of 58 cards. Regarding visual presentation and layout, the cards were changed to double-sided. Both the front and back were color-coded. This version had 4 supplementary tools, including a user archetype template for building up a specific user, an idea card for describing what the concept is and how it functions, a storyboard template for illustrating how, when, and why the user would interact with the creative concept, and an image bank containing 150 images with varied levels of abstraction. Each card had an empty slot where the card user could insert another image selected from the image bank if they do not relate to the existing image on the card or wish to seek more inspiration. We deliberately recruited domain experts corresponding to each card category as participants to test the third version. The participants liked the design of the Pull Out Information tab on the card, as it not only provided elaboration on the meaning of the terms, which made it easier for laypersons to follow, but also created a feeling of playing a game. The outcome of using this toolkit was presented on an idea card. The idea card helped the participants to structure and present their concept in a more systematic way, making participants to consider and negotiate 6 aspects of the concept, specifically drawing how it looks, describing what it is, how it works, who the targeted user group is, what problem it tackles, as well as considering if it can be adapted to other user groups. Since we did not receive critical feedback about the cards, we used the same set of cards in the 4th version of the toolkit. But we made major changes on the board based on the feedback. In this version, the board was designed as a serpentine game map. The size was large enough to support a participatory activity with up to 10 participants. 3 supplementary tools were integrated into the board, specifically 2 pre-populated user archetypes, a list of rules, and a new image bank which contained 58 explicit images describing various contexts. We recruited 9 design researchers to critically evaluate this version. The board game structure was easily understood. The overall aesthetic and the scale immediately stood out. Interestingly, the Pull Out Information tab was originally seen as playful, but after the workshop, participants were more skeptical about the complexity of the cards. For instance, how information should not be hidden and how it would be problematic to roll out the cards at scale. Our toolkit went through 4 iterations when we submitted our paper to TAE conference, but we have kept developing the toolkit since that. I have a video to show you the latest version of the toolkit. To conclude, Flexi card game has been demonstrated to be a versatile and useful design toolkit. It was based not only on empirical evidence, but also on a theoretical understanding of long-distance relationships and car-based design toolkits. The findings indicate it can serve as a collaboration mediator, storytelling stimulus, and tangible knowledge carrier. It has made domain-specific knowledge, specifically the design framework, accessible to designers, researchers, practitioners, and even individuals who have no design background or are not familiar with the domain-specific topic. Flexi card game can be regarded as a first step towards a long-distance relationship-oriented car-based design game toolkit. It was specifically tailored for designing unconventional communication systems for connecting couples in long-distance relationships. However, as we reflect on the ways in which its structure operates, we see the potential of adapting the toolkit in other contexts as well. This would be an interesting direction for future research. This is the end of our presentation. We welcome any questions, comments, or suggestions you may have. Thank you.